Information management. We've not seen data on, for example, Nigeria's foreign reserves published in recent times. What are you doing to ease the flow of information management? Because that helps with accountability. Professor Sagi, the special anti-corruption courts that were supposed to be set up, and they were very high up in the APC's manifesto. What has happened on that? And on a legal perspective, Boko Haram sponsors, what is happening with them? Because the truth of the matter is, if Boko Haram sponsors are not brought to book, then Colonel Usman's work becomes a lot harder, because they will simply sponsor another set of people at some point. Which brings me to Colonel Usman. The army going in heavy at every single opportunity. For example, December 12th last year, with the incident in Zaria, and then yesterday, the incident in Baramatu. Does this not risk alienating people who could help the army? And then finally, for the Minister of Finance, I want to take issue with something you said. You said that the manufacturing sector grew in the first quarter. MBS figures said that it shrunk 3%, sorry. Now, I know for a fact that a lot of companies are finding it hard to import things, raw materials, because of forex restrictions. And because of that, there are job losses. And again, the president always says that, oh, people spend a lot of forex on luxury items. The data suggests that what people spend forex most on is petrol. If petrol marketers are finding it hard to import petrol, what are we doing to prevent another petrol scarcity? Thank you.
Okay. And the lady in the blue turban, finally.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Darius Natasha Macri, former director NUGC, Youth Sports Culture and Women Affairs, and partner in Macri and Nobel. My question goes back to the initial problem of Nigeria, which was meant on looting. If monies are returned by individuals or past government officials, are returned, and names will not be published because it could bring lawsuits, whatever reason the president was advised not to release the names, what would deter the next set of government officials? If all I do is that I have to return the money, is there going to be any other deterrent? Because I know if I did something wrong when I was younger, my father would punch me, and I would make sure I didn't do it again. Is there going to be prison sentences? What is the deterrent if I know if I just give it back?
Yeah, good. Okay. So who's starting? Who's going to respond?
Okay, I'll start.
Right.
I'll start with the gentleman who said, I give the impression that Nigerians are fortunate to have elected President Buhari as president. And when I say that, I'm not being patronizing. I say that because I know that it is his sheer integrity and discipline that has enabled us to hold what has made of the economy what it is today. You see, you can imagine if it is the other government that won the election. Clearly, all these corruption cases, all these disclosures would not be made public. We would simply be thinking that we have problems, and then they would, that discipline to really mind the shock of losing 2/3 of your economy at one go will not be there. This is why I say we're lucky that we have a disciplined leader. I'm not being patronizing at all. You talked about information being made available. I think that there's a change from what we used to have before. Today, the NNPC, for instance, publishes every month its balance sheet, what it is doing, what it is losing, what it is making. And I believe that if you go to the central bank website too, you can always know how much money we have in reserve. And if they don't, I will pass this to the CBN governor, unless there's anything in terms of economic, intelligence or security that will prevent him from so doing.
Okay, I have 5 minutes for everybody to respond, so we've got to really ramp it up.
There's the issue of the return loot and what is deterrent. I don't think the fact that you have returned your money will save you from prosecution, not in the list. But what we say now is that if you return 1 million naira, 1 billion naira, or if, for instance, we have just garnished your account, and then we release your name, of course you could go to court. But what I can assure you, before the end of this week, we are going to have, the full details of what has been recovered in naira, in dollars, and in what jurisdiction, and what is pending in certain jurisdiction. Now, I'll come back straight to the question you asked about security. Now, I think what you mean that there should be this synergy between town and gown. In other words, the government should also make use of the intellectuals, the academicians, the professionals. Yes, I don't think the government is averse to that. But I think the various professional institutions also need to do more than what they are doing now. I'm sure they need to move nearer government. They need to organize, symposia, conference, and workshop, so that government will actually know.
Okay, let's quickly go to the other three panelists. Colonel Sani, you were asked a question about...
Kadaria, is that you don't allow us to make
I have 5 minutes, and you have your other distinguished panel who will also ask questions. This is the problem. Unless you want to finish the whole program, that's the thing. Okay, so Colonel Sani, you were asked a question about the heavy-handedness of the army and how you tend to just go in there. Can you respond to that as quickly as possible, please?
No, he did not say heavy-handedness.
Please,
he
can you use...
going on heavy. It's different than heavy-handedness. Okay? The two are different.
They're not
and
different,
my answer to him is for him to look at each of the two case scenarios in the context under which they operated. Let me start by 12/12. By 12/12, I mean 12 December 2015. What happened that afternoon was unprecedented, not only in the history of this country, the history of this world. Group of armed youth confronted and ambushed a serving chief of army staff. And all efforts were exhausted to make them to see reason.
Okay, let me quickly come in here because I've got a minute. The problem isn't what happened at that place, isn't it? The criticism you've been receiving as the army is that you went to the community afterwards
that's the problem.
And carried out an operation.
That is the problem, and that is why I spoke of context under which the circumstances happened. Now, after the afternoon incidents, of course, they started firing at the military. There is no doubt about it. The chief of army staff car, even though it was bulletproofed, it was damaged. Could have taken his life that time. My life could have been taken. Okay? Now, you have to find out where are the source of those weapons. And anybody that is familiar with the situation at that time, Zaria was suddenly saturated with all manner of people coming to pay.
Okay, I've run out of time, literally, and I'm really sorry.
The same thing that happened with Baramantu. Luckily enough, the people that broke the story or that interviewed this chief, they were at convergence with the level of people that were arrested.
I'm confident that Nigerians...
And they were arrested with arms and ammunition and various information.
We'll carry that. Well, thank you so much for coming. I'm really grateful you did. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. I think it's a measure of how engaging the conversation has been that there's so many people that still want to talk. So I do want to apologize that we don't have another hour to go. I want to thank my distinguished panel and also thank my distinguished studio guests. Thank you so much all for coming out. This program will be repeated today at 11 for those at home who want to watch it again. On behalf of everyone here at Channels, Daria Media, and our partners at the Center for International Advanced and Professional Studies, I wish you a very good evening.